Hello friends and welcome to YouTube channel Freedom Tech, and in this session what we are going to learn? In this session we are going to count people frequency with the help of Raspberry Pi 4 on Raspberry OS Bullseye 64-bit version. But before we move to our practical, friends, if you learned something from our videos, please consider to subscribe our channel. Okay friends, thank you so much and let's get started. So friends, as I mentioned, in today's session we are going to use our Raspberry Pi 4 and we have our latest Raspberry OS Bullseye 64-bit version, and we are going to count basically people frequency with the help of YOLO4-tiny version. Simple. So for that I have just installed latest Raspberry OS Bullseye on my Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, it's completely newest version, fresh version. Simple. So first what we want to do, we want to access our Raspberry Pi 4 in our Windows machine. So for that we need to know the IP address. So simply you need to visit your router page. Inside the router you will see there is a LAN setup. So here as you can see, this is what the host name Raspberry Pi, and this is the IP address 192.168.0.100. so this is what my Raspberry Pi 4 WLAN IP address. So simple. Now what we are going to do, we are going to open Windows PowerShell, and here we are going to access our Raspberry Pi with the help of SSH. So SSH pi, then @ and the IP address 192.168.0.100. this is what the IP address. So SSH pi is the user, then @ 192.168.0.100 the IP address. Just hit enter, mention yes, hit enter. Now we need to mention our Pi user password. So you need to mention your Pi user password. That's it. We successfully log in our Raspberry Pi 4. So as I mentioned in today's session, what we are going to do, we are going to access our Raspberry Pi GUI mode with the help of remote desktop. So we have, this is the Windows 11 machine. Of course for Windows 10 same process. Okay, so we have here remote desktop connection. So here we are going to, I have already mentioned the IP address. As you can see, this is what our Raspberry Pi 4 IP address. So we are going to access our Raspberry Pi 4 GUI mode with the help of remote desktop connection in our Windows machine. So for that first we need a new user. Okay, so we are going to create here a new user. So let's just run the command sudo space add user. Okay, sudo space add user and mention the username which you want to create. So I am going to mention Freedom Tech. Okay, this is what our username. Just hit enter. Now here we need to mention the password for our username. So mention the password, then again retype same password, hit enter. Now here we don't want to mention anything, just hit enter. Full name enter, room number enter, work phone just enter, home phone enter, other enter. Is the information correct? Just mention yes. That's it, we have done. We create a new user. So if you want to cross check, simply mention su and the username which we just create. In my case I have here a Freedom Tech. Okay, so as you can see it says we need to mention the password. So mention the password for user which we just create. That's it. As you can see, now here we have Pi because login with Pi user. So now here we have Freedom Tech. It means we are now login with Freedom Tech user. That it means we successfully create our user. So simply run the exit. That's it. Now again we are login with Pi user. Now we need XRDP package for enabling remote connection in our Raspberry Pi 4. So run the command sudo space apt install, sudo space apt space install XRDP space -y. Just hit enter. It will install XRDP package on our Raspberry OS Bullseye 64-bit version. Okay, so there is some error here. As you can see, temporary failure resolving. So here it is. As you can see, we have some error, failed to fetch, failure resolving. Okay, so simply no worry about the error. What we want to do, if you have same error, what we can do here, run the command like this way, sudo space nano, the editor, and we are going to edit here /etc/resolve.conf file. Okay, so if you facing this kind of error in your case also, simply we need to change the DNS. Okay, so for that, sudo space nano, we are going to edit etc/resolve.conf file. Okay, etc/resolve.conf, simple, hit enter. And here, as you can see, as I mentioned, we need to change the DNS or name server. Simply remove this one, and we are going to mention 8.8.8, simple. Control, then X, Y, and just hit enter. It will save our file, simple. Now we have done. Now again, if I run the same command, which is our package installation command, sudo space apt space install xrdp space -y, just hit enter. Now there is no error, it will install our package. Okay, so if you face same kind of error, no worry, simply edit the /etc/resolve.conf file, name server, change the name server with free DNS server, which is 8.8.8.8, the Google DNS server. That's it. And then simply run again sudo apt install xrdp package command, and it will install our xrdp. That's it, we have done. We create our new user, which is Freedom Tech, then we install xrdp package. That's it. Now we are ready, and simply close the SSH session, and we have our remote desktop session, and the IP is same 192.168.0.100. just click on connect. Now this is what our screen, the first login screen. So here we need to mention, of course, the username. So Freedom Tech in my case, and the password, just hit enter. That's it, we are successfully logging. Here we need to mention the PyUser password again. So here it is, as you can see, authentication is required to refresh the system repository. So PyUser is there by default user, and of course we need to mention our PyUser password. So mention the PyUser password, click on OK. That's it, we are done. Now we are accessing the Raspberry Pi 4 Raspberry OS Bullseye inside our Windows machine with the help of remote desktop. Of course, if you connect the Raspberry Pi 4 with the monitor, then there is no need to do all these steps. Okay, simple. But if you don't have any external monitor, simply we can access our Raspberry Pi 4 in our Windows machine with the help of these steps. Done. Now we are ready, and what we are going to do, as I mentioned, first we need opencv, then we are going to install TensorFlow, then we are going to install cvlib, then we need here cvzone package also. Okay, so simple. First go to the menu, programming, Tony, then click on switch to regular mode, just again click on OK, just close, again go to the menu, programming, Tony, and now here we are going to install our packages one by one. Go to the tools, manage packages. Okay, like this way. So first package we are going to install opencv-python, opencv-python, click on search on Pi, opencv-python, version is 4.7.072, click on install. Now it will install opencv latest package on our Raspberry OS Bullseye. So it will take some time, meanwhile I will pause the video. So friends, as you can see, we have successfully installed our opencv package. Okay, so close. Now what we want to do, we want to simply install our next package. So again go to tools, manage packages, and the next package name is basically TensorFlow, not TensorFlow Lite. We are going to install TensorFlow main version, which is only TensorFlow. So TensorFlow, search on PyPy, it's searching. So TensorFlow first package, click on install, and it will install TensorFlow on our Raspberry OS Bullseye 64-bit version. Of course it will take some time, meanwhile I will pause video. So friends, as you can see, we have successfully installed our TensorFlow. Simply click on close. Now again we are going to install our next package. So again open tools, manage packages, and this time we are going to install cvlib. So cvlib, and just click on search on PyPy, cvlib package, and just click on install, and it will install cvlib on our Raspberry OS Bullseye 64-bit version. Again, it will take some time. Meanwhile, I will pause video. So friends, we have successfully installed cvlib. Now again close, and again we are going to install next package, which is cvzone, and just click on search on PyPy, cvzone first package, and click on install. It will install cvzone on our Bullseye 64-bit version. So friends, as you can see, we have successfully installed cvzone. So we have first installed opencv, then we have installed TensorFlow main version, then we have installed cvlib, then we install cvzone on our Raspberry Pi 4 Raspberry OS Bullseye 64-bit version. That's it. So for today's session, I have created here a repository. I will mention the link, and the repository name is rpi4 people counter YOLO. Then go to the code. I will mention the link. You need to simply copy and paste the link inside the browser. Okay, then go to the code, and we are going to click on download the zip. It will download zip format folder. So this is what our folder. Now simply what we are going to do, I am going to minimize the browser and open the file manager. Inside downloads, we have our repository in zip format. So right click, extract here. So this is what our repository. Just we want to move the repository in our home folder. So just click on cut, go to the home, and paste here. Just paste it. Okay, so just open the repository, and first we need our video file. So inside download.txt text editor, we have the link. Okay, so this is the link. Just copy the link. Okay, and we are going to open again our browser, open new tab, and just Ctrl+V the link, and just hit enter. It will open the video cloud link. Click on download, and it will download our video in zip format. So friends, as you can see, we have successfully downloaded our folder. So go here, show in folder, and inside download we have cctv rpi4.zip. Right click, click on extract here. It will extract our video file. So this is what our video file in mp4 format. So we need to move this file inside our main repository. So just click, right click, click on cut, and home folder, or you can simply go here, home. Okay, then we have our repository rpi4 people counter YOLO main. Just click on here and just paste the video file which we copy. So this is what our video file, simple. Now what we are going to do, we are going to simply open main.py with the help of our Thony Python IDE. So let's just close all these things, this one also, and just open Thony, and go to the file, click on open, go our repository. This is what our repository, rpi people YOLO counter main, then main.py, click on OK. It will open our main.py. Just a minute. Okay, so this is what our main.py. As you can see, I have mentioned the cctv.mp4. This is what our video file. So import cvlib as cv. We install cvlib package, so we need to simply call our packages. So import cvlib as a cv, then import cv2, then import numpy as np. Then we are going to use cvzone for text. We are going to put the text, counter text on our frame. So for that we are going to use here a cvzone. Then we have our while loop. Okay, we are going to call our video file. So of course, as we always do, rate img is equal to cap.read. Then we are going to skip some frames because we are working on our Raspberry Pi 4, so we need a speed. So we are going to skip here 3 frames. Okay, then scroll down, then we are going to resize our video frame, then cv2.imshow method, then wait key, gap.release, and cv2.destroy all windows. Simple. So let's just first watch our video. I'm going to run the code. So friends, as you can see, this is what our video. We have here CCTV recording, and there is people is basically going this side, okay, up. So our target is what, our goal is what, we want to count the people frequency. Okay, we are going to basically create here a counter. So this is what our video file. So for that we need, first we need object detection. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are going to use here cvlib. So we import cvlib. This is what our cvlib, and cvlib is basically use YOLO4, and we are on Raspberry Pi 4, so we are going to use YOLO4-tiny version. So here it is. As you can see, I have commented this line. So first uncomment this line, and this line is basically our detection, cv.detect common objects. So we are going to basically call our cvlib, which we import cvlib as cv. So we are going to use this cv. Okay, so let me scroll down here. So as you can see, I have mentioned cv.detect common object. Okay, cv.detect underscore common underscore object, and then inside that we need to mention our img, our frame, and it will return us a rectangle box 4 coordinate, each object rectangle box 4 coordinate, and then it will return us the label, means the classes, and it will return us the confidence. Okay, so if I print here b box, okay, so if I print here, it will show us each object rectangle 4 coordinates. Okay, but as I mentioned, we are going to use here YOLO4-tiny version. So here after that img comma mention model variable is equal to, we need to mention YOLO4-tiny, YOLO4-tiny. Okay, so now it will use YOLO4 model, and basically YOLO4-tiny model, not YOLO4-tiny model, because we mentioned the model YOLO4-tiny. So if I save the code, if I run the code, it will now download YOLO4-tiny by default pre-trained model. As you can see, downloading YOLO4-tiny.cfg and the weights file. It's now downloading. So done, as you can see. So now it's detecting the object inside shell. Inside the shell, as you can see, we have here 1 2 3 4, and this is the list of rectangle coordinates, means we are detecting the object. Simple. Now what we want to do, means we are detecting the object with the help of YOLO4-tiny. Now what we want to do, we want here a tracker, because we want to count the people. We are basically going to create a counter for people. For that we need to track a person, means we need to assign the ID for each object, each person. For that we need a tracker. So inside the repository, this is what our repository rpi4 people counter. Inside repository, as you can see, I have mentioned the tracker.py. Okay, so if we go here in file, click on open, and the tracker.py, click on OK. So this is what our tracker file. With the help of this, we are going to basically assign the ID for each person. Okay, so we have our tracker. So we need to call this file inside our main.py. So simple, what we are going to do here, we are going to mention our file name. So what is our file name? Our file name is basically tracker. So simply we can say here, from our file name, which is tracker, from tracker we are going to import all. For that we need to mention star. Okay, so from tracker import r, I have mentioned here star like this way. Simple. From tracker import all. So we have now our tracker. So we need to create a new variable. So let's just create here new variable, which is tracker. Simple. So tracker is equal to our class. So our class is what, like this way. Our class is tracker. So T is basically capital here. So we need to mention as is. So tracker is just a variable which we are going to call inside our while loop. So tracker is equal to our tracker class. Simple. That's it. Now we have our tracker in our main.py. So what we are going to do inside our tracker.py, as you can see, we have here update function. This is what our update function, and we need x, y, w, h coordinates. Means we need, if we want to enable our tracker or if we want to use our tracker, we need each object rectangle coordinates. Simple. So we have our rectangle coordinates inside our b box. inside the B box we have each object 4 coordinates, means we have each object rectangle x, y, w, h coordinates. So this is the list format. I already show you the B box is basically list of our object rectangle coordinates. So simply if you want to use our tracker, we need to pass these coordinates, these rectangle coordinates inside our tracker. So how to do this? Simple. We know what we have inside our B box, so we can simply call our tracker. So what is our tracker? Our tracker is basically this tracker variable. So for that, first what we are going to do, we are going to create here a new variable. Let's say B box idx, B box underscore idx is equal to our tracker variable. So mention the tracker dot inside our tracker. What is our function name? Our function name is update. Simply mention that name over here, tracker dot our update function. That's it. And inside that we need to pass our B box. Why B box? Because B box is basically our each object rectangle coordinates, the 4 coordinates x, y, w, h. Simply so mention B box. That's it, done. Now we are going to use the for loop. So for B box in our B box idx. So let's just mention for B box in B box idx. Now our tracker will return again the x, y, w, h coordinates for object. Means we are going to basically send the object coordinates, object rectangle coordinates to tracker, and tracker will be track the object, and then it will return us again new rectangle coordinates and id for each person. So now again we have new coordinates, so simply we can mention x1 y1 and then x2 and y2 and new variable which is the id, because tracker is basically assigned the id for each objects. So we have x1 y1 x2 y2 and id is equal to our B box is equal to B box. Simple. Like this way here, B box. That's it. So x1 y1 x2 y2 and id is equal to B box. Simple. Now we have a rectangle coordinate, so simply we can draw the rectangle. So let's just draw the rectangle. cv2 dot rectangle, and inside that where we want to draw our rectangle, we want to draw our rectangle on our img. Then what else we want? We want our x1, then y1, and then what next? We want our x2 and y2, so mention x2 and y2, and then we need a color, so let's make red one. So 0.255 and thickness let's say 1. Okay, so this is how we will draw the rectangle on our object. Then we are going to put the text here. We are going to put the id on each object. So cv2 dot put text method, we are going to put the text on our img. Then what we want to put? We want to put our id, so string, so str. Inside that we need to mention our id variable. Then what else we want? We want to put the id on our object rectangle top left corner. So top left corner is basically x1 and y1. Okay, our rectangle x1 and y1 is basically our rectangle top left corner. So x1 and y1, that's it. Then we need a font, so let's say cv2 font Hershey complex. Okay, so friends, I have mentioned the font. Then we need a scale, so let's say 0.5, and we need again a color, so let's make a white. So 255 and 255. Okay, then thickness let's say 1. We will have the rectangle on each object, also we will have the id on each object. So if I save the code, if I run the code, so friends, as you can see, we have the rectangle and the id for each object. This is the car and there is 0, this is the person and there is 1. Okay, so with the help of tracker we successfully draw the rectangle on each object, means we are tracking the object. Also we assign the ID for each object. For this person, as you can see, there is a 12, the ID. Simple. Now what is our requirement for this particular project? We only want to detect a person. There is no need to detect other objects. We only want to detect a person. Simple. For that, I have created a file. Okay, basically I will show you. If you go here, tools, we install cvlib package and we are using cvlib package. Okay, so if you go inside the tools and manage packages, and here the package name which we install, cvlib, just click on search on PyPy. This is the package name, cvlib, and install to /home/freedomtech local lib python 3.9 side packages. So this is the path where we have cvlib folder and all other files. Okay, so simply click on this install tools, just click on here, it will open the folder where we have basically cvlib. So this is the path where we have our cvlib. So if you search here, as you can see, we have your cvlib. So just open the folder. So inside this folder we have object detection.py file, object detection py file. Okay, so inside that object detection py, if you want to detect only one object, so we need to mention some changes. Okay, so I have already mentioned the changes and I have already mentioned the file inside our repository. So if we open our repository which we clone, so this is what our repository. As you can see, inside the repository I have already mentioned object detection.py with some changes. With the help of this file, we can only detect person, because in today's session our need is we only want to detect a person, we don't want to detect other object. Okay, so for that we need this object detection.py. So what we are going to do, we are going to first change the default file name. Okay, means basically we are going to take the backup for this file. Okay, so this is our by default file inside /home/freedomtech.local lib python 3.9 side packages cvlib, and inside that we have object detection.py file. So just right click, rename, and here simply mention 1. This is how we can take the backup. Simple. Click on OK. That's it. Now we want to simply drag and drop our file which we have inside our repository. So rpy4 people counter, this is our repository and this is what our file, object detection. Simply drag and drop inside our main file, main folder, which is cvlib. As you can see, object detection.py, and this is what our object detection 1.py. 1.py is basically default file, and this is what our change file means. Inside that I have mentioned some changes. With the help of these changes we can only detect one object, which is people, person. Simple. So now we mention our changes. Now if we start again our code, okay, and friends, as you can see, now we are only detecting a person. There is no other object detection. We are only detecting the person. Done. Now we have done. Now what we are going to do, just a minute, stop the code, just scroll down. Now what we are going to do, friends, what is our goal? We want to count the person frequency, or we can simply say we want to create the counter. So let's just first stop our while loop. I'm going to mention here 0, it will freeze our frame, and there is no need tracker.py, so I'm going to close the file. So I have freezed the frame. So this is what our first frame, there is a object which is person, rectangle, and the ID for this person. Okay, so what is our goal? Our goal is we want to count the person frequency. So simple, what we are going to do, we are going to draw the line in between these two cars, and then with the help of this object center point, we can say if the center point of this person, if the center point it touch the line, then we are going to count. Simple. So for that we need a center point and we need a line. First we are going to mention the center point. Okay, so simply how to get the center point. Cx is equal to int x1 plus x2 divided by 2, enter. Cy is equal to int y1 plus y2 and divided by 2. That's it. This is how we will get the Cx and Cy for center point. Simply now we can say cv2 dot circle, and where we want to draw the circle, we want to draw the circle on our img. Then we need Cx and Cy, so mention Cx and Cy. Then what else we want? We want radius, so 4. Then we need a color, so let's make green 02550, and because we want to fill the circle, so we can simply mention -1. That's it. So if I save the code, if I run the code, now we can see there is a center point inside the rectangle. Okay, and as you can see friends, as I mentioned, this is the rectangle ID and green color, this is the center point of this object. That's it. Now we have a center point. Now what is our next condition? We want to draw the line. So the center point, we want to touch the line, so we are going to draw the line in between these two cars. So on Raspberry OS Bullseye, here it is, as you can see we have XY coordinates. So this XY coordinates is basically our mouse cursor coordinates. If I want to draw the line here, simply I need to move my cursor over here, then inside here on the frame, as you can see we have x383 y113. So this is the coordinates. So for this scenario we need to draw line here, so simply I am going to move my cursor over here, let's say 202252 x202 y252. So 202 and 252, this is what our first coordinates, 202 and 252. So let's just mention first here 202 and 252, 202 and 252. Okay, this is the startup coordinates. Then again I need to minimize, and this is what our frame. So then the next point, let's say over here 361212. Okay, 361212. So 361212. This is what our end coordinates. Now with the help of cv2.line we can simply draw the line. So let's just stop the code, and now we are going to mention our function, which is cv2.line, cv2.line, and check it is in line. Yes, it's in line. Okay, cv2.line, and then where we want to draw the line, we want to draw the line on our img. Then we have our first coordinate, which is 202252 xy coordinates for starting line, and this is what our end line coordinate 361212. That's it. Then what else we want? We want a color, so let's make red or let's make green. Okay, 0255 and 0, and the thickness I'm going to mention 1. Simple. So if I save the code, if I run the code, now we will have the line on our frame. And friends, as you can see, there is a line. So this is what our line. Okay, so now we have our line. Now what we want to do, let me stop the code. So here, what is our condition? Our condition, as I mentioned, our condition, when the person center point touch the line. For that, this is the y coordinates for starting point, and this is the y coordinates ending point. We need to mention same. If this one is 252, we need to mention here also 252. So let's just mention 252. That's it. So if I save the code, if I run the code, so if the starting point is 252, you need to mention same over here for ending point 252. Okay, so this is what our line. This is what our line. If the center point touch the line, then we are going to count. Simple. So now what we are going to do, we have done with the line process. Now we need to create here a new variable, which is cy1. Okay, so here I'm going to create a new variable which is cy1, and this cy1 is basically our line y coordinate, which is 252. So let's just mention here cy1 is equal to 252. Now because we mention our y coordinate as a cy1, so instead of number we can simply mention cy1. So just remove this 252, because 252 is now our cy1. We mentioned this as a variable, so cy1, just change it with cy1. That's it, we have done. Now we need offset point, so simply mention the offset. So offset is equal to, let's say, 6. Offset is equal to 6. Done. Now we are ready and we can create our condition. So what is our condition? Our condition, if the person center point, let me show you again here. If I start the code, because we freeze our frame, so we will have first frame. So this is what our first frame. So what is our condition? If this center point, if it is touch the line, then only we want to detect the object, then only we want to assign the ID, and then we are going to create the counter. So this is what our condition, if the center point touch the line. Simple. So for that we are going to use here cy1 coordinate, which is assigned for our line and the offset point, and also we are going to use cy, which is our center point coordinates. Okay, so simply we are going to mention here where we have our center point coordinates. So simply if cy1, because cy1 is assigned for our line, so cy1 is less than our center point cy coordinate, so cy plus our offset, that's it. Then and again cy1 is greater than, inside same way cy, a center point coordinate, minus offset. This is the condition where we check our object center point, it's touch the line, yes or no. This is the condition. Now this is the condition, if condition. After that, as I mentioned, after this condition complete, we are going to draw the rectangle, we are going to draw the circle, we are going to use a put text method. Otherwise there is no detection, there is nothing. We are not going to count the person. Okay, simple. So if I save the code, if I run the code, so friends, as I mentioned, as you can see, now there is no rectangle, there is no ID, there is no center point. Why? Because our person center point is not touch the line. When it's touch the line, then only we have all the rectangle, center point and all other methods. Simple. Okay, so now what we can do here, we can simply start our while loop. If I save the code, if I run the code, now of course our person will be moved, and after some time when it's touched the line, we will have the rectangle, circle and our ID on the rectangle. As you can see, it's touched the line, there is a rectangle, there is a center point and all other things. Okay, so let's just watch for next person. Next person is basically coming, friends. So friends, as you can see, this is what our next person. Just watch, there is nothing. When the center point touch the line, as you can see, there is a 5, there is a rectangle, there is a center point. So we successfully mention our condition. When object center point touch the line, then only we have all the detections. Now simply we can create a counter. Okay, so simply what we are going to do, first we need to create here a variable which is the counter. So counter is basically the list of our each person. Our each person is basically the ID. That's why we assign the ID for each person. This is how we track the person. Simple. So ID, if we save, if we match the condition, then we are going to save the ID. Okay, it means of course we have counter. Simple. So we create a counter is equal to empty list. So after that put text method, here we are going to mention counter dot append, counter dot append, and what we want to append, we want to append each person ID. Simple, that's it. Now if we print here our counter, because we mentioned counter as an empty list, so where we have cv2 dot line method, then after we can say print our counter. Now if I save the code, if I run the code, now just watch inside the shell, friends. Okay, right now there is nothing, the empty list. When person touch the line, there is a 0. As you can see, there is a 0 0 0. It means we save this person ID inside our list, means we count one person, because there is only one ID, the ID for assign this person. Okay, now watch for this person, we have only one ID inside our list, which is 0, which we already count. It means we count one person. So now watch for this person, when it touch the line, means the center point. As you can see, there is a ID, but friends, as you can see, the 5 is ID for assigned for this person, but how many times we count this person ID? We count 1 2 3 4. 4 times we count this person, means we have false count. Why? Because there is some time required to cross our area. For this person also, as you can see, we have 13 same ID again, because each person requires some time to cross our area. In meanwhile, we will count the same ID again and again. For that, we need to create the condition, don't count the same ID again. So we are going to create here a condition. Let's say if counter dot count, what we want to count, we want to check our ID, so mention the ID. If counter dot count and ID, if it is 0, means don't count same ID again and again, then we can simply mention counter dot append. That's it. Now save the code, run the code. Now there is no false count. So friends, now watch for this person 0, we save their ID inside our list. This is the list. Okay, we are saving each person ID in list. We create the counter as a list, and inside that list we save their ID. When our condition match, when our object center point touch the line, we are going to save their ID. Okay, so we already count the one person, there is a ID 0. Now for this person, when this person touch the line, means the center point of this person touch the line, then it will save the ID inside list. As you can see now friends, now there is no double count, there is only one 5, the ID 5, because we create a condition. Now it will not count one ID again, same ID basically, not one, same ID again and again. It will count same ID only once. Okay, for this person also, we already count 2 person. Now for this person, touch the line, there is ID 13 and we save their ID, means we count 3 person. For this person, it will touch the line, we save their ID 23. For this, so we are saving their ID inside a list. Now how to get the frequency? Simple. This is the list, so length of list is basically our counter. Simple. For this also, save the ID 26. Okay, simple, we have done. Now here we can say, now we know what we have inside our counter, so there is no need to print a counter. So L variable is equal to length of our counter, and after that we are going to put the counter on our frame. For that we mention cvzone method. For that we install cvzone package. That's it. Now let's just watch our counter. We count first person, so we have 1. So friends, now next person is coming. When it touch the line, we will see the counter will increase. Touch the line, there is 2, so we count 2 person already. So there is third person is coming. When the person touch the line, of course our counter will increase. So right now there is 2, it means we count 2 person already. Third person, we already count third person. Now this one, fourth one. Okay friends, so I have explained full code step by step. Also I have mentioned if you don't have external monitor, how you can access your Raspberry Pi inside the window. Okay, so I have explained all these things step by steps. I hope you will learn something from this video. We'll meet our next video. Till then, thank you, take care, and bye bye.